Hello there, welcome to my views and news. Another video for you. Is Ethiopian PM Abiy Ahmed under pressure? Is he in a difficult position? Did he cut short his trip of Russia? He was missing from closing ceremony. He was seen only a day before the start of the ceremony when he held a bilateral meeting with Putin. He was not visible on day 2, and I could not spot him in the closing ceremony too. Was he communicated? Did someone deliver a message to the Prime Minister that he should be careful while he's in Russia? Is he worried about internal situation? Why did he cut short his visit? Several questions. We'll try to find answers to these questions in this video. Before having a look at this development, I have a clip for you from the closing ceremony of Russia-Africa summit. PM Abiy was not there. Egyptian president can be seen standing alongside Putin. Russian president PM Abiy nowhere to be seen. Watch the clip, then we'll try to analyze this important development. Well, firstly, when PM Abiy attended US-Africa summit a few months ago in Washington, D.C., I remembered a video back then, and he was missing from the ceremony, closing ceremony of US-Africa summit. So here again, missing from closing a ceremony. Did he left early? Well, Ethiopian PM Abiy is in a difficult position. How to balance relations with Russia, China on one side and US on the other. Ethiopia is in talks with IMF and World Bank for months. So far, Ethiopia could not secure any new big loan from IMF and World Bank. Ethiopia is hoping to get around 8 billion, 7 to 8 billion US dollars from these monetary organizations. And without US approval, without EU approval, these institutions don't release any loans. US is helping Ethiopia gradually. US a few weeks ago removed some restrictions. Ethiopia was removed from the list of states involved in human rights abuses. That was a way of clearing the way for Ethiopia to get approval of loan from IMF and World Bank. But so far, no agreement. Ethiopia in talks, but no agreement reached between IMF and World Bank. But Ethiopian neighbor, Kenya, managed to get 1 billion US dollar loan from IMF. I think around a week, IMF confirmed the approval of $1 billion loan to Kenya. Did Kenya attend Russia-Africa summit? No. Ruto was not in St. Petersburg. By the way, Ruto attended a global summit held in France a few weeks ago, summit on new financial structures, where talks were held about the need to establish a new financial structure in the world. And there Ruto spoke. He represented Africa, but he was not in Russia. Why? Because maybe he got, Kenya newly got 1 billion US dollar loan from the IMF. And Kenya took a very strong position. Kenya said that Africa should be represented by African Union at Russia-Africa Summit. So, in a way, we can say that Kenya boycotted Russia-Africa Summit, mainly because of its growing ties with US and West. PM Abiy went to St. Petersburg, held a meeting with Putin, but there he remained silent. I did not hear from PM Abiy there speaking about the need for a new world order. Like Isaias spoke. Isaias spoke about the alleged hegemonic designs of some powers who want to rule the world. And he was very vocal against the US, against the West. A champion of New World Order is Isaias Afwerki now. More vocal champion perhaps than Russia and China. The PM Abiy was, he kept a very low profile there. Why? Definitely, PM Abiy is in a difficult position. How to balance relations with Russia, China on one hand and US on the other. It's a challenge for the Prime Minister. And we know that IMF has laid out a precondition. It wants Ethiopia to get assurance from China before release of new loans for Ethiopian government. Wang Yi, top Chinese diplomat, visited Ethiopia a week ago, and during his visit he assured that China would support Ethiopia. IMF wants China to give clearance for release of loan to Ethiopia. So you see that Ethiopia has to maintain good relations with China, US and European Union. We know that economic crisis is worsening in Ethiopia, though people say Ethiopian economy is progressing, GDP, other economic indicators positive, but problem is that real value of Ethiopian currency is declining fast. Official and black market exchange rates, birr to dollar, dollar to birr, are very different. In open market, $1 equal to around 60 birrs, but in black market, $1 equal to around 110, 120 birrs. This is the real value of birr, and dollar is not available in open market. There is definitely an economic crunch which Ethiopian PM Abiy's government is feeling. That is why PM Abiy visited Russia, but he tried to keep a low profile there. He did not criticize the West or US, he just silently attended the meeting and silently left. No one saw him there. I think Kenya, Ruto is very close to PM Abiy. Ruto calls him his friend. He calls Ruto his friend too. He might have talked to Ruto too. Ruto might have communicated to him that he should be careful. He should be careful while he is in Russia. That is why he was there, but he just restricted himself to the extent of bilateral meeting and to the extent of Ethiopian government's intention and desire to join BRICS. Ethiopia wants to join BRICS, which is Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa bloc. Several countries want to join BRICS. Ethiopia is not new. Some African countries, Middle Eastern countries, they want to be part of BRICS. So there's nothing new about that. But overall, we can say that PM Abiy deliberately tried to keep a low key in Russia. Firstly. Secondly, can we say that internal situation in Ethiopia is a pain in the side of Ethiopian PM? Yes. We cannot deny that security situation is deteriorating fast in Ethiopia. If an army chief of a country can be encircled, if he has to flee for his life, you can imagine the security situation in that region or that country. Birhanu Jula was trapped near Gondar 2 days ago. He managed to survive. Somehow he was evacuated by air from near Gondar. So this is what is on the ground situation in Ethiopia. I think in coming days, especially in Amhara, in coming days, PM Abiy's government will have to make some key decisions about the Amhara region, about Fano's expansion, Fano's assassinations, about dialogue with Fano, or about the start of a major operation against Fano. Is ENDF pulling any punches? Does it have many options available? We can analyze that too in a coming video. So far, Ethiopian PM Abiy externally is facing the challenge of how to balance relations with Russia, China on one hand, US on the other hand. Internally, his main challenge now is coming from the Amhara region. It is becoming now a serious challenge. How will he overcome this challenge? So far, ENDF is at a loss. We're not able to see anything which can be called a workable strategy adopted by Ethiopian National Defense Force. ENDF seems to be at a loss. Amhara regional government is not in the picture. Is there any government in the region? Is there any, are there any local governments put in place? What are police and militia doing? No one knows. Security structure, administrative structure, both are being paralyzed in the Amhara region. It means that now federal government will have to intervene. How will federal government intervene? As a mediator, as a military force to launch a major operation, as a backer of Amhara regional government? Several questions, and these questions will be answered in coming days. PM Abiy was accompanied by Tamaskan Terone, by the way, intelligence agency chief of Ethiopia when he was in Russia. And Russian news agency particularly reported about cooperation on roadmap between Russia and Ethiopia regarding peaceful use of nuclear energy. Ethiopia has been in talks with Russia for some time, reportedly about nuclear energy cooperation in the field of nuclear energy. Only South Africa has nuclear plants in Africa. PM Abiy's government is interested in nuclear cooperation with Russia. But again, PM Abiy is in a difficult position. How to balance his relations with Russia, China on one hand and US West on the other. Internal challenge from Amhara is turning into a serious challenge, it seems. Thank you for watching.